Sixth house is a unique house in itself. It is kind of defamed as it is called a trik bhava or a dusthana. Basically, it is called a bad house, a trouble-giving house, a problem-giving house. It is a house responsible for the diseases that you get, the conflicts that you get, the litigations that you get, the fights you get into. It is the house of enemies. It is the house of debts. It is the house of the problems, the daily struggle. It is seen as a bad house. But it is not only a bad house. You've got to understand that no house in astrology, you can term it as a best or an excellent house or a worst house. So there are different utilities for different houses. So like I just mentioned, sixth house is required. A strong sixth house is required if you are getting into any kind of a competition, any kind of rivalry. If you want to win, you should have a strong sixth house, or the sixth lord should be well placed if you want to win any competition, even the litigations. If you see somebody's chart and he comes to you with a litigation matter and seeks advice that what will happen in the litigation, you will have to see where is the lord going, where is the sixth lord going. So if the sixth lord goes into the 11th house, then you tell that person that don't worry, you'll gain out of it. You tell that person straight away, don't worry about the litigation, you will gain out of the litigation.
Right.
Yeah, it will be in your favor, or you would gain. If it is sitting in the sixth house itself, then it becomes strong and the person can fight and will have the good things related to the sixth house. Sixth house is not only bad. If you see by Bhavam, sixth is ninth to the 10th house. It becomes the bhagya of the 10th house. It becomes the luck of the 10th house. If you start counting, it is ninth from the 10th house. Yes. If you again count, it is 10th from the 9th house. Yeah, it is karma of 9th house. So karma house from the 9th house, bhagya from the 10th. So that way, if you see, it is not that bad a house. It is 5th from the 2nd, but still it is called a bad house. It is a dusthana house because in the material world, in the daily world, it gives you struggle. But unless you struggle, what is it that you're going to achieve? Unless you get into daily discipline, unless you get ready daily and go to your office and go to work and start the daily struggles that you get into, the daily discipline that you get into, unless you do that, what will you achieve? For anything you need to achieve, you need to put in efforts, that we know. And that is the house of daily efforts. Yeah, it is the house of the tricks that you use in the daily life. It is the manipulations that you use in daily routine, on daily life, or in dealing with the life issues. So all that is sixth house. If you want to see somebody's profession, or if somebody is in a job, what is the kind of job he's doing, you see it from the sixth house. If somebody has illness, you can still see that from the sixth house, the influence on the sixth house, or wherever the sixth lord is sitting. If you want to see the litigation, you will have to see the influence of the sixth house, that where is it that the litigation is coming. So you see the placement of the sixth lord and the planets placed in the sixth house, the influence on the sixth house, you will get to know. But most of the people would come to you for employment related problems. Or if you want to judge that where this person is working, you can see the influence of the planet on the sixth house, and you can judge what is the kind of job that the person would be into. Yeah, so 10th house is the house of profession, but it is the quality of the profession, the nature of the profession. But a person, if in job, you would see that from the sixth house. If he is in the independent business, you would see that from the 7th house. Yeah. So it is the house of service. You want to do a remedy for the 6th house, you do service, you volunteer, it will make your sixth house stronger. If you give back to the society and you are volunteering and giving service to the society in whatever means and ways you can, it will make your sixth house stronger. To get better results of the sixth house, you need to do service. Seva, as we call it here in India. The Seva Bhav, the feeling of serving.
Right.
If you have that, and if you are practicing it, if you are taking that pain and serving people, you will make your sixth house stronger.
Okay.
Yeah. Even the pets that you keep are seen from the sixth house. The underprivileged class is seen from the sixth house. Your workers or the servants that you keep is seen from the sixth house. All right. So sixth house is a very, very important house in the chart. People kind of curse it.
Yeah.
With different perspectives, people talk differently, and mostly people curse it. But it is a very, very important house, and it is required in different fields of life, different areas of life. If you get into conflict with a weaker sixth house, you would not be able to stand with in front of your enemies. If you are, and obviously the Lagn should be stronger, but if you should have a good influence on the sixth house, so that kind of helps. One note that you can make is that it is always good to have a debilitated planet in the sixth house.
Right.
A debilitated planet in the 6, 8, 12 houses gives you excellent results.
Okay.
Yeah. So a debilitated planet in the sixth house can perform as a Raj Yoga Dasha.
Right.
Yeah, it will give you a lot of material gains. Because any planet which has strength or which is exalted, and if it goes in the sixth house or the sixth lord becomes exalted, it is kind of a way, in a way you can say that your problems, your illnesses, your issues, the conflicts, the deaths, it all takes a higher standard. They become stronger. It is not good. Always better to have a debilitated planet sitting in the sixth house. That's one thing. So sixth house is a part of the scheme of Upchaya houses. Upchaya houses are 3, 6, 10, and 11. These are the houses that grow with time, with struggle, with experience, the daily struggles and experience that you take. You kind of grow with time. You get better with time. You get better with handling of people. You get better with handling of stuff. So with time they grow, and it is better to have the Trishadaya lords, which is 3, 6, 11 in the Upchaya bhavas or the Upchaya houses. So sixth house is part of the Upchaya houses scheme. It is part of the Trishadaya houses scheme. It is also the part of the Dushthanas or the Trik bhavas. So it is kind of a unique in itself house in itself, because eighth house you only take it as Dusthana. You don't take it as Upchaya or Trishadaya. So it is only taken as a Dusthana house. 12th is also taken only as Dusthana or a Trik bhava. It is either in the Upchaya or the Trishadaya category. But sixth house comes in all the three categories: the Upchaya bhava category, the Trishadaya bhava category, and the Dusthana or the Trik bhava category. Yeah. So by that you understand that it is a problem giver also, but it is important also. You need that. Yeah. Unless you have strength to fight, you will get oppressed. Yeah. So that ways you need the third house and the sixth house, the third house of courage and the sixth house, so that you are able to fight back, or you are able to take a stand, or you're able to face your enemies. So that ways, probably that is the reason they go into these categories also, the Upchaya Bhava category also. Because Upchaya Bhava means they are improving, or they are rising. So with time. If we go to our regular trend and see the planets placed in the sixth house. So what happens if the sixth lord sits in the sixth house?
Yeah, you already mentioned it would be very likely you win the competitions, the litigations.
One thing is that it is the house of conflicts, and
Right.
the house of conflicts is getting strong. So the
Right.
person would get into conflicts, that is for sure.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that
It
house
would
is getting
be,
stronger. If that house is getting stronger, it is gonna give you
yeah,
results related to itself. It
right.
is Adusthana house. It is getting stronger. Your conflicts you will face conflicts, but you are
And
capable of handling it.
right.
Yeah.
But it's not making the person seeking conflicts. It's not of a
You never know.
or it could be, it
Could be.
can be, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
So if you
okay.
know this as a general tendency or the human nature, if you know you're strong somewhere, you kind of
Yeah.
exploit that area. You kind of
Yeah.
you know that you're strong there, so you kind
Okay.
of uh, you, you kind of invite people to get into that field wherever you're stronger.
Right.
Because you know that you are strong in that field, so you have
Uh-huh.
a kind of confidence, and you're kind of comfortable in that environment, so you don't avoid it in a way that like
Right.
the other people
Okay.
do. Yeah. So but with the sixth house being strong, you are very capable of clearing in competitions. If there
Yeah.
are 10 people in a team competing for a goal, with the person who has sixth house strong would probably achieve success. It is very, very likely that the person achieves success. You would not want it to go very, very strong, because then, in a way, it is kind of making the house of illnesses strong. It is making the house of litigation strong. It is
Mhm.
the house of giving you stress is getting strong. So although you are capable and you are able to fight it out and you are able to live with it, that will all be there, but you will still have all those problems because that house is strong now. There both ways that you see. And what the classics say about it, let's see. Sixth lord in the sixth house is that the native is hostile to his own fellow men, friendly to outsiders, ordinary wealth. So because sixth house is getting stronger, you may get into service.
Mhm.
And with service or a job, you can make ordinary wealth. You cannot make great wealth while working
Right.
for somebody, unless you become a CEO of a company. That also has, you will also have to see the 10th house for the quality of the work that the person is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But unless you get onto a really high position, it is quite likely that somebody who's retiring from a job is making ordinary wealth. And this is only because for one placement, you will have to see the other placements also. You will have to see the second house also.
Yeah.
How good is the second house of the accumulated wealth? How good
Right.
is the 11th house or the 11th lord of gains? So you will have to see multiple placements. You will have to see the entire chart. You have to see the chart in entirety, and the whole chart to predict that how much wealth somebody would make. But by one placement, you can say that because it is the house of service, and you most likely that this person would get into a job or do service and can make, and a person in a job can make ordinary wealth. So that is probably a reason that they've written it this way. But what is more important here is that it says that he is hostile to his own fellow men. And
So to his family and family and his close environment, so to speak.
yes, people
Yeah.
in the people who are close to him, he's kind of
Yeah.
hostile to them, and he is good to the outsiders, friendly to the outsiders.
Right.
That's what it says. So the seventh lord in the sixth house.
Yeah, there would be conflicts with the life partner.
Right.
I wouldn't think would be a harmonious relationship.
So one thing is that although it is not the seventh house we are talking about, we are talking about the sixth house. But the lord of the seventh house is going 12th to itself, making
Yeah.
itself weak, going 12th to itself, negating its own house.
Right.
Yeah, going 12th to itself. That means that the seventh lord becomes, or the seventh house becomes weak. because its Lord goes 12th to itself and goes into the 6th house, which is not a good house.
Yeah.
So both ways, it is a difficult placement.
Yeah.
One thing is that your spouse can become your enemy. That is one thing, because it is going in this, it is influencing the 6th house. So you would see where are you getting the conflicts from.
Yeah.
Because the 7th Lord goes into the 6th house. You are reading the 6th house now. You see the influence on the 6th house, that where my conflicts are coming from. So it is coming from the 7th house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your spouse can become the cause of your,
Okay.
whether it is with the spouse or with the outside world, that is a different story. It could be either of the two. Your conflicts because of your spouse with the outside world or with the spouse himself. That we'll have to see the influence on the 7th house also. That how good is 7th house doing?
Right.
Yeah, but currently we are only looking at the 6th house. So the conflicts are coming from the 7th house. It is the reason for the conflicts is the 7th Lord.
Right. Right. Right.
With your partners, your business partners is also 7th house. Lord of the 7th house. They may become the cause of the conflict. You may have a sickly kind of a life partner, because it is going 12th to itself, no, and it is also going in the 6th house, but from itself it is going 12th, so it is getting in a weaker position.
Right. Yeah.
Unless there's good or benefic influence on the 7th Lord or the 7th house, you may say that partner is weak and sickly.
Right.
Could be. It could also be that you can say 7th Lord in the 6th house, your partner can become the cause of a litigation. You can get into a litigation with your partner also, your business partners also, or because of your business partners or your life partner, you can get into a litigation matter because of them. The 7th Lord can cause illness also to you.
Yeah.
Influencing the 6th house.
Right.
Or the area of your body part, the 7th house governs the area below the lower abdomen, or the sexual organs. There you may say that there could be problems there, could be ailments there. And from there, 7th Lord is sitting in the 6th house, aspecting the 12th house, activating the 12th house, the house of losses. So because of the partner or the spouse who's going in the 6th house, you may lose money also.
Right.
Because the reason for the loss is sitting in the 6th house, ruling the 7th house.
Right.
You understand this concept? That the planet sitting in the 6th house is the 7th Lord. It is aspecting the 12th house, activating the 12th house, the house of losses. Either you may spend a lot on your spouse, you are activating the 12th house, the planet activating the 12th house is the 7th Lord.
Right.
It could be, it can be a combination of expenditure on the spouse.
Right.
Or because of the spouse. Or the partner can give you losses. If the 12th house is empty, if there's planet in the 12th house, then it is all right.
Okay.
Yeah. But because if in case 12th house is empty, I told you the principle of the axis that you see in a chart, that if that house is empty, the 7th house is empty, the planet sitting in the 6th house will take the responsibility of, it will start behaving as if it is the in charge of the house opposite to it.
Right.
Yeah. The classics say that the native will have ailing wife, mutual hostility towards wife. Like wife is also hostile to you, and you are also hostile to the wife. Easily angered. The native is easily angered and miserable. Suffers at the hands of his wife. So this is what the classics say, but it is kind of a difficult placement. It is not an easy placement. Yeah, for somebody to have the 7th Lord in the 6th house, especially from the perspective of the spouse.
Yeah.
If somebody who's single and comes to you, gives you his chart and asks you, should I get married?
Yeah.
So what you do, you can ask him, are you willing to get married? Are you
Yeah.
thinking of getting married?
Yeah.
If he says, no, I don't feel like, so you can tell him that it is better that you
Yeah.
still, yeah, you can kind of, in a subtle manner, you can advise the person that let it be, let it go. You don't need to. By the time the native comes to you, he would already have had relationships. He may have lived with someone also,
No.
and he would have experienced also that. So he would know already. But if he comes to you for advice, you can tell him if you think that you can live without a spouse, it is better to live that way. The native can do his business or get into a service kind of a business, but he should avoid, in such a case, he should avoid the partnerships in business.
Okay. Okay. Difficult.
The
Yeah.
partnership,
Yeah. That's self-employed, and you have
he can get
a serve.
self-employed, that is okay. He can get into the
Offering a
services
service.
business. So there are
Yeah.
different kind of businesses. Like
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
is the product business and one is the services business. He
Service
wants to get
business.
into
Yeah.
the service business, he can get
Right.
into the service business. That is all
Yeah.
right. But
Yeah.
having a partner, a business partner,
Yeah. Yeah.
he will invite conflicts. So that way it is a difficult placement. For this kind of a person, it is important to get into to have the service mindset and volunteer and do service for the society. He can go and service in church. He can help in cleaning the churches. He can go and he can go to orphanages, help there, whatever kind of help he can do. He can teach properly the students. He could offer his help in whatever means he can, whatever by he can probably go to an old age home which is not very well maintained. He can go and serve there. He can give his
Yeah.
services there either by cleaning or by whatever means he could serve. Going to a temple and giving his services there, going to a public place, cleaning that place, giving his services, volunteering for just for the service to mankind of people. It is all. It is even better if you serve the underprivileged class,
Yeah.
people living below the poverty line. If you go and help them and serve them and do service to the society by helping those people, then it kind of satisfies the sixth house, and that is also a remedy for the sixth house, a good practical karma remedy for the sixth house. Yeah, you may get across a lot of remedies. People can give you a lot of remedies like do this, do that, but this is kind of a practical remedy. But this is a lifestyle remedy, and the native will have to do it regularly.
Right.
So if he does it regularly, one thing is that he is adding the good karmas to his life.
Yeah.
To the tally of sanchit karma, the total tally of sanchit karma, he is adding good karmas. That will also help him exhaust the prarabdh or the pending karmas that he's got in his life. So that will also help him exhaust those karmas. That way, it is kind of a good win-win kind of a situation if he does this kind of remedy. But since we know it is not a easy remedy, most of the people who comes to you, they look for easy remedies where they don't have to take pain.
Right.
People don't understand this fact that by not taking pain or taking a shortcut, it is not that easy as it looks. For somebody who is looking for an easier remedy, the astrologer can give him an easier remedy because he also wants to get out of that discussion and wants to say that all right, that my time is over and give me my fees and please carry on and live the way you want to. Who cares? So he can give a small remedy like feed the birds or do this mantra or do this or do that. But unless you are actually doing something which is satisfying the requirement, yeah, because it is a difficult placement, you've received it because of the pending karmas, and you have to exhaust that also, and you have to exhaust it in a way your chart is telling you to do it. Well, it is obviously painful. You will have to take out time, and you will have to sacrifice something else. If you do this, you will obviously have to sacrifice, and then there's opportunity cost also. But at the time you're doing this, you would not be able to do acts where you could make money or you could do other things that pleases you or gives you pleasure. But this is a very, very important lifestyle change that somebody should adapt. Yeah. So the eighth lord in the sixth house.
The native could be prone to accidents.
Yes, you may say that. Native can get a litigation because of an accident. He can get
Right.
into an accident that could cause litigation.
Right.
There would be cases where somebody came in front of the car and the native hits him, and then there's a litigation matter that the native is getting stressed about. Also, it is a combination of a disease going chronic. Sixth house is the house of diseases.
Yeah.
Eighth house is pain and suffering and miseries. So the diseases of the sixth house becomes painful now.
Right.
Yeah. With eighth lord in the sixth house, the diseases will become painful and chronic. So it is not a good placement that way. Although for the eighth lord, the planet is going 11th to itself, if you see it that way, but still it is a difficult placement. It is not an easy placement. Yeah. So the classics gives us a pretty long description of this placement. It says ailing in the childhood, ailing in childhood. The native is ailing in childhood, overcomes his foes, fear from water and reptiles. So overcomes his foes in the later age. Fear from water is seen, and fear from reptiles is also there. And it also gives a list of planets becoming the eighth lord and going into the sixth house. It says if Sun is the eighth lord going in the sixth house, when will this happen? When Sun becomes the eighth lord? In Capricorn Lagna.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
In the Capricorn Lagna.
Right, you're right. Yeah.
In the Capricorn Lagna, Sun becomes the eighth lord. And if it goes in the sixth house, it says the native is opposed to the ruler. If Moon is the eighth lord, this happens in the Sagittarius Lagna. Then it says the native is ailing. If Mars becomes the eighth lord, so this will happen twice.
Yes.
Mars can become the eighth lord twice. How that happens?
One in Virgo and in Aries.
Aries Lagna, because Mars also rules Scorpio, right? Mars can become the eighth lord twice. In the Aries Lagna also it is the eighth lord because of the Scorpio. But in Aries Lagna, it is obviously you will take it as the Lagna lord first. However, in the Virgo Lagna, it is kind of more prominent because the Mool Trikon sign is in the eighth house. So if Mars is the eighth lord and goes into the sixth house, the native is easily angered. If Mercury is the eighth lord, goes into the sixth house, the native is a coward. If Jupiter is the eighth lord, goes into the sixth house, the native has diseased limbs. And if it is Venus, who's the eighth lord and goes into the sixth house, the native has eye diseases, diseases of the eyes. You would read in the books that sun governs the right eye, the moon governs the left eye. It is seen from the second house also, the 12th house also.
Right.
So the sight is governed by these planets, all right. But the overall mechanism of the eye, it is a very, very complex organ of your body.
Right.
Yeah, it is a very complex structure. The eyes, the entire structure of the eyes, the entire mechanism is governed by Venus.
Okay.
So if there's problem with Venus, people can get eye diseases.
Right.
One is have a weaker vision. That is, one is the weaker vision, and one is the disease of the eye, which can be of the retina or something else or something within the eye. So that
Right.
is why Venus. Venus governs two most complex organs in the human body. One is the kidneys, which purifies the entire system. They're really small in size, but there's a very complex system in it. And the eyes. Both these organs are very, very complex and small in size. And Venus governs both these.
Right.
So if anybody who has these kind of problems, you can straight away take Venus and start doing remedies for Venus.
Okay.
Yeah. You would obviously look at the seventh house for kidneys. You would obviously look at the second house for eyes. That can be taken. All right. But you can
Yeah.
pick up Venus also. And you can
Okay.
start doing Venus remedies also. If Saturn becomes the eighth lord and sits in the sixth house, the native has disease of oral cavity. You have a planet in eighth or sixth, sorry. You have a planet in the sixth house?
Ketu.
Ketu.
No.
So with Ketu, it is kind of a placement where what happens with Ketu in the sixth house is that one thing is that the native is not really into fighting. He
Yeah.
kind of lets go the fight and
Yeah.
kind of say, let it be. I don't want
Point.
to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ketu is not interested in fighting though.
Mhm.
Yeah, he wants to get off and because
Mhm.
Ketu is Karaka of detachment, you see.
Okay.
However, if there's Rahu there, the person may get into conflicts and may invite conflicts or would be interested in conflicts. But with Ketu, the native would say, take whatever you want to take. I don't want to fight. So he's
I
kind of
seek
that.
someone else to. Yeah. But,
So, but the problem with Ketu in the sixth house is that whenever a native gets a disease, it is very hard to detect.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But with astrology, you may see influence on the sixth house. What planets are making a relationship there, or where is the sixth lord sitting? So by that you can kind of check that
Yeah.
what
At
it
least.
could be,
Yeah.
the
At least.
areas of the problems
Yes.
where
Yeah.
it could be. Yeah. So that ways you
Mm.
can check, but otherwise in the normal world it is very, very hard for people to even to identify the problem that the native is facing. Like the native goes to a doctor and tells him that I'm not feeling well. The doctor says, I am unable to find anything in you. And you are
Right.
telling the doctor, no, I'm not feeling well. Doctor says, what do I do? I have done these tests and nothing has come up. So there's no, by the time the native gets to know the problem, it is already delayed. Yeah,
Right.
so it is kind of a tricky placement.
Right.
But if you serve the society or the serve underprivileged classes with no personal interest, it kinds of keeps the sixth house also satisfied and keeps Ketu also satisfied.
Okay.
Because Ketu is Karaka for detachment. It is the planet that is
Yeah. I see. I see what
which
you mean.
promotes the feeling of the yogi feeling, the fakirs. I don't know if you know that the fakirs, the
Yes.
Sufis, the people who are not interested for their for self accumulation or
Yeah.
uh,
Self-interest.
people who've left their self interest, the sannyasis that you see.
Right.
Yeah. So Ketu is promoting that kind of a feeling in a native. And so if you have the right intention and you do acts for helping others and you have no self-interest, you are kind of aligning your Ketu and it starts giving you good results.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So this science or this Vidya, this study, astrology is also governed by Ketu. This is the science of the yogis, it is said.
Yeah.
People with biased motives should not do astrology. It doesn't belong to any religion. It doesn't belong to Hindus only or people who are like more religious kind. It is not for them. An astrologer has no religion whatsoever. It is the science of the yogis. It is the science of the fakirs. People who only want to give and don't want anything in return.
Right.
It is to be done with the purest of the intentions. Unless you do it with the purest of the intentions, you want to do it like any other subject, or you want to treat it like maths, or read just the combinations, you would get success. But whenever you would need it the most, it would probably would not help, or it'll show you in your face that you're not good enough. Don't boast
Okay.
about it. Yeah, you have
Okay.
to, whatever you do, if you, even if you're predicting well, you should give the credit to God, and you should praise Almighty. Be humble, and should not think of benefits related to the knowledge that you have. If you start expecting people should respect you, people should give you whatever you get, you keep it, that is a different thing. But if you are working with that expectation that this is what I get, if I've done this for you, you should do this for me, that shouldn't be the case. Keep what you get, that is a different thing. But it shouldn't be done with the motive of having material success or material wealth or whatever. So it is a very, very important lesson that people should understand. Although most of the people these days, they do it as either they want to make it a profession, or they want to make themselves known, or there are people who are kind of looking up to him with respect. And with astrologers, some of them are charging exorbitant money from people. Some of them are giving remedies to make money. Astrologers kind of, when suggesting gems to people, gemstones,
Right.
they kind of they tell you that you would not find a original gem, I will bring it for you. Obviously,
Right.
will give him at a higher price, or he would tell you that go and buy it from that shop. He would already have a commission set from that jeweler who is selling it at a price. So all those things shouldn't be done. That's what at least our guru tells us. Rest is, everybody is living their own life. Everybody is responsible for their own karma. And this is what is, this is called Paravidya. So Paravidya is like, this is not a normal kind of a study that you're doing. This is kind of a spiritual knowledge that you're taking. It is to be used the right way. It is to be used for the right motives, with the right intent. Ketu rules intent. If you have intention of having something, Ketu doesn't support that feeling. If you have intent of leaving, Ketu becomes happier. And you would also see this, that whenever you leave, they'll start following you. If you say I don't want money, then the people will say no, take money. Yeah, so that also happens with people. So, but with Ketu in the 6th house, it is good that the native doesn't get into fights, or he kinds of lets go. And if he is not able to let go, then he may add up to the pending karmas and may backfire in a way that the native could not even imagine that what has happened. If you are not able to let go, with Ketu, you've got to let go.
Okay.
You cannot get into conflicts. If till the time you're letting go, it is all right. Nobody is going to give you any harm. Let go of whatever conflict there is. But there's nothing to be afraid of if you are on the right track, if you are kind of spiritual with your thinking, and you have that spiritual mindset. Ketu is kind of satisfied. Yeah. And you are already satisfying Ketu. You're studying astrology. But the deeper you go, better it is. We've only started. There's a long way. So we've done 8th Lord in the 6th house, 9th Lord in the 6th house.
Conflicts with father?
Yes. So father is becoming the cause of conflicts, whether it is with the father or with the outside world.
Right.
It is also a difficult placement. You will have to do a lot, even if you are not getting good out of this relationship. If you're not getting the good things out of this relationship, you still need to serve your father. You still need to serve your guru to make up for the placement that you've got and the alignment that you need to do. So 9th house is the house of guru. 9th house is the house of father. So you need to maintain good relations with them. However, you will see that it is very, very difficult.
Yeah.
They would be very hard to handle. and there'll be problems. But that is what the prarabdha is. That is what the pending karma is. What you're born with. You
Right.
fight it out. You have to handle that struggle.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So if you get into more of these conflicts, it'll add up to the pending karmas you're already carrying. So,
Right.
but people don't understand in the material world this factor, that you have to accept what you're getting, and what you're getting is what you brought in your chart. The character, who you're cursing, who's your father, probably you're cursing your father, that he is not the right person. He is not the right person because he's playing the role that God has written in your birth chart, your life story. He's only playing that character. He's already a victim of your chart story.
Right.
Even if you get the best of the person in that role, he would still behave in the similar manner because he is to play that role of that character of your chart.
Right.
Yeah. You try and bring the best of the person and make him your father, you would still see that there are conflicts with him. So the internal fight or the cursing or blaming others or whatever problems that a native is going through, that I'm not doing good because I had a bad childhood, my parents were not good, my this, my that, but all that can be seen from the chart, which means you've already brought it with you. It is not somebody else's chart. If this can be predicted from your chart, it means that you've brought it with you. This is what you've got. This is what you've got because of the pending karmas of the past lives. Blaming others for your problems is not the right thing. Even if you don't have a good relation with your brother or your father or your mother, blaming them would not help. It will add up to pending karmas that you're carrying. It will add up more load to it. It is better to accept and face it and live it, and live it in a way that if they are troubling you, get troubled. All right, try and solve this problem by peace, love, give love back to them so that you exhaust them as early as possible. You exhaust the pending karmas as early as possible and don't not add more to it. Yeah. So if they are not behaving well with you, you are giving love in return to that hostility. You are kind of exhausting the pending karmas that you've already brought, because that is the chart you've brought with yourself. And if that can be seen from your chart, then no matter who that person is, who's your father, he's just behaving the way it is written in your chart.
Right.
If you are not getting happiness from your spouse, it is not the spouse's problem. It is your chart's problem. You're carrying that role for that character. That person is already a victim, getting cursed by you for playing the role of the character which is written in your chart. You understand this concept?
Right.
And if people gets this perspective, half of the problems of the world will vanish.
Right.
So a Jyotish is not a magician who will show you magic by telling you stuff from your chart that this is happening in your life, or he is giving you remedies that do this will happen, and do that and this will go away, or you will achieve success. That is not the role of a Jyotish or an astrologer. Astrologer is also called a Devagya, somebody who is giving you Dev's Agya. Agya means, it can be translated as prophecies also. It can be translated as Agya means permission. Agya means, the exact translation for Agya would be permissions. Dev means gods. Agya means permission. So Devagya means that somebody who's telling you about your life, or it is the prophecies that the person is making. So it is a very, very responsible role of becoming an astrologer, of becoming a Jyotisha, because you are giving God's words to the natives, or you're guiding the native to do the right things in life. People take it very lightly and loosely. The astrologers that you would meet, that you would see, that take it very loosely and very lightly. It is not that kind of a profession that is to be taken very lightly or seen very or a money making kind of an do whatever kind of a profession. It is not that kind of a profession. It is to be done very, very sincerely. It is to be done with utmost sincerity, and it is to be done by people who are of excellent character, who are ethical, who are responsible enough to understand the responsibility given to them. Although there would be lacks of astrologer these days available, very few understand the concept and the responsibility attached to it. So I'm not kind of discouraging you, don't worry. It is not to discourage you or tell you the difficulty attached to it. You would say, what is the kind of subject I've picked up? I should have taken a easier kind of a subject, but that is what it is. The truth remains the truth. And it is not that difficult also. It is just that the way you see it. And it is important to have a good character. For somebody who already has a good character wouldn't have so much of problem. There are people who see it just like any other profession or a vocation. So it is not just any other vocation or a profession that you treat it that way. Yeah, the skill that you're getting is a very, very important skill. Unless you have that kind of a understanding, you would not get the real essence also of astrology. No matter how intelligent you are, no matter how fast your brain works, the intuition that an astrologer builds comes by God's grace, not by the books. It doesn't come from no matter how much you read or how much you study. It comes from the Almighty. That is the reason astrologers are advised to meditate and be spiritual, so that it opens up their intuition. It opens up their mind. And the chart starts speaking to you. Otherwise, it is the same chart that you see all the time, the 12 houses, the 9 planets, their placements, and you can predict something. By these placements only, by now, we are on the 6th house. You have how many? 12 into 6 are how many predictions?
144.
So 12 into 12 is 144. But you are already halfway.
House. Yeah,
you are already halfway. You already have 70 plus predictions. You can at least make 70 predictions. But when we say we are still far from where I should leave you, which means that there's a lot we have to learn. And but with the kind of knowledge that you currently have, you still can give some predictions to people. You can still amaze some people. Yeah, but that is not the motive. So I have this problem of deviating from topics. So I'm sorry. And
no problem.
Wherever, so in a group kind of a class, I kind of stay more on the topic. With individual classes, I kind of lack that discipline of completing the topic within the given time. So that is the problem that I have. I'm sorry.
But it's often very interesting side paths. So
the 10th Lord, so the 9th Lord in the 6th house, the classics tells us that the native is tormented by enemies, no comforts from maternal uncles, engaged in religious pursuits, and sickly. So engaged in religious pursuits is because it is the house of daily discipline, and the 9th Lord comes and sits there. Although it is kind of, because it is the 9th Lord of the chart, it would give strength and improve the 6th house. But here you can say you have a bigger loss, because 9th Lord is a very important planet in your chart. If that goes into a wrong house, you kind of lose a lot. So 9th house goes bad here because it is going in the 6th house.
Right.
Although it is not that bad a placement for the 6th house, but for the 9th Lord, it kind of gets spoiled. Yeah.
Right.
So the 10th Lord in the 6th house. So for 10th Lord in the 6th house, that is a combination for service. Person can get into a job and should be in a job, because it is the 10th Lord, which is the Lord of status, profession, uh, going into the 6th house. One thing is that the Lord of the 10th house going in your house of conflicts, house of litigation, your image, your status could become a cause of your conflicts, that people are jealous of you.
Right.
But it is also a combination of job. The person, the native should do jobs, or should be in service, and it is better to get into a job than to have his own business.
Right.
This kind of a placement.
Right.
For this placement, the classics tells us that with 6th Lord, the 10th Lord in the 6th house, the native is tormented by foes, poor despite being skilled, no comfort from father, quarrelsome, healthful. Again, for the 6th house things, it says healthful. It is making the 6th house stronger. The person is quarrelsome also. But for the 10th Lord, it is not that good a placement going in the 6th house. The 11th Lord in the 6th house.
The Lord of Gains going in the house of debts.
What do you think it would be? You can get gains out of probably by giving money on debt.
Okay.
But your desires can also give you debt.
Okay. Yeah.
Driven by desires, you may buy a Mercedes tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah, you want to drive a good car. You can buy a Mercedes tomorrow. Had a debt of 100K on yourself.
Yeah, there's people when they have $1, they spend $5. That kind of thing.
Yes.
And maybe conflicts with your
elder sibling,
and your social circle.
Yes.
Yeah.
The social circle is kind of influencing your house of conflicts,
right?
Your house of diseases.
Maybe prone to choosing wrong friends, or not the right friends. Yeah.
Correct. So the classics tells us that with the 11th Lord in the 6th house, the native is sickly. He is cruel, tormented by foes, resides in a foreign land, has powerful enemies, because 11th house is the amplifier house.
Right.
Goes in the 6th house.
Right.
It's making it stronger. The enemies are getting stronger. It is the house of the enemies.
Right.
Enemies are getting stronger. If the 11th Lord is a malefic, native suffers death in a foreign land at the hands of a thief. If 11th Lord is a malefic planet, the native suffers death in a foreign land at the hands of a thief. This kind of a prediction, this can happen, may not happen. You should not take it so seriously. But since the classics tells us this would have some meaning, of course. You can take the essence out of it. The 12th Lord in the 6th house?
Not so good. I suppose the native wouldn't win so many litigations and
so the planet of losses,
right,
has come here.
Right.
What will it do? It will give you losses from the 6th house activities.
Right.
It is the house of hospitalization also. Illness can take you to hospital also. You may get hospitalized. Or the native can do a job in a hospital. He could be working in a hospital.
Yeah.
Because and if he does that, it will be far better for him.
Right.
It will be really, really good if a native with such a placement can go and work in a hospital.
Right.
That will be an alignment in itself. Because it is that will satisfy both the requirements. The 6th house also by doing the job, and the 12th house also by working in a hospital. Otherwise, this can be a difficult placement. 12th house tells you about jail also. Your conflicts can take you to jail also. Litigations can take you there. For the sixth house, the best remedy is to do service
Right.
and give your service to the animals, give your service to the underprivileged class,
Yeah. Yeah.
give your service to the society. So that is the best remedy that one should do for sixth house matters. And this is something that anyway person should do. One is charities, and the second is seva or service.
Yeah.
So if you become spiritual, if you follow the right path, if you are seeking God's help, that is one. Then you are doing charities with no personal motive, and you are doing service with no personal motive. You would live the best possible life. Most of the problems from your life will vanish if you are doing regular charities, because 12th Lord is sitting somewhere in your chart. He would go and sit somewhere. You cannot miss it. It will have some impact in your life, the 12th Lord. By doing charities regularly, you will satisfy that planet. Wherever it is sitting, it will stop giving its effects. Like for you, it is sitting with the Lagna Lord in the ninth house. You start doing charity on regular basis, it will help you in your health also, and it will improve your luck also. You will become virtuous, you will become healthier, your personality will improve, your status will improve. It is the 10th Lord also. Mercury is the 10th Lord also. Your status will also improve. 10th Lord is afflicted by the 12th house, 12th Lord. If you do regular charities, if you do regular meditation, it will help you immensely. And the 6th Lord is gone into the 12th house. By doing service, you will satisfy that also. So your 12th house is your expenditure.
Right.
So because it is your expenditure, it tells you that what is it you are spending on. Are you spending on the good things? You are spending on the good things. Your 12th house should tell you where you are spending. With the 5th Lord there, you can spend on studies, on learning, on the good things. With 6th Lord in the 12th house, you can spend on bad things. You have a combination of both. The 5th Lord also in the 12th house, the 6th Lord also in the 12th house.
Fifth Lord? Wait. Yes.
Saturn.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
5th and 6th Lord both sitting in the 12th house.
Right.
Where are you spending your money? By the placement of the 5th Lord in the 12th house, that means you are spending on the good things. You're spending on learning.
Yes, I think, yeah.
With 6th Lord in the 12th house, you may spend it on the bad things also. With Rahu there, the planet in the Rahu Ketu axis can tell you that you can waste money also on not so useful things. You may say that by the placement of the chart. I'm not saying this is what is happening. You may change also by your free will, by the karma. You can change it also. If you're deliberately spending on the right things, then it is good. But combination says that native is prone to spend money for the wrong things also.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really have that problem because I don't have so much money to spend on wrong things. So.
No, that is all right. But I'm just saying the placement. What's the placement saying? So it is not just one thing that you see, because it is the other things also that you see. The ninth house also that you see, that which is governing your moral character. So one thing is that you don't have enough money to spend. Had you have enough money to spend, what were the things that you were thinking of spending on? That is one thing. The second thing is, how good is your ninth house? If you have ninth, you can spend on spirituality. You can spend on good things also. The 12th Lord is conjunct with the first Lord. So it is kind of affecting you also, but it is sitting in the ninth house. Ninth house is good. Ninth house is good because it is the Lagna Lord, which is sitting in the ninth house. Yeah. So that way, you're kind of saved. in a way.
Mm.
Otherwise, just by looking at the sixth lord or looking at a planet in the Rahu Ketu axis, that is one way of prediction. But Jyotish is not so simple, or astrology is not so simple. There is no one planet prediction in astrology. There has to be a combination of the things. That while you see one placement, you cannot say the person is a bad person. What all you have to see, if you want to judge a person, you would see the lagna, the influence on the 10th house, planets governing both these houses, the lagnesh, the lagna lord, and the 10th lord. Because 10th house is the house of karma, 5th house and the 5th lord. 5th lord is governing your buddhi, decision making ability, your understanding ability. What is the influence you have? Your mind is going the wrong way, or it is on the right track, ethical or non-ethical, how your mind is working. So the 5th is also important. The 9th is important. It is your moral character. It is governing your moral character. So what all do you see to judge a person's character? You see the 1st house, the 1st lord, 10th house, the 10th lord, 5th house, the 5th lord, 9th house, the 9th lord. You also see the 7th house, because it is 10th from 10th. That is all you have to see before you judge a person.
Right. Okay.
Not just by one placement you say that he is a bad person. You have to see all these, and if you see all this afflicted, you can straight away say that he's going the wrong way. If all this gets afflicted, or if that is how you judge a person by the chart. I was just giving you example, not to tell you that you take it personally. I was just telling you that this is how you read. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we've done 12th lord in the 6th house. 12th lord in the 6th house. The classics tells us the native is short tempered, miserable, hostile to his own people, addicted to women. But 12th lord sitting in the 6th house, it is making the 12th house stronger, aspecting back the house. The 12th house is strong. The native can go abroad. He can work in a multinational company. The job, the 6-12 axis, 6th is job also, 12th is foreign land also. So you see this 6-12 axis, he could work in a multinational company. He could work for a foreign employer. What else? It says addicted to women other than his own, hostile to his own people, eye diseases. Venus as the 12th lord in the 6th house leads to blindness. If it is Venus, the 12th lord, if Venus becomes the 12th lord,
right,
and goes in the 6th house,
right.
so it is influence. Obviously, 12th lord is influencing the diseases. The person can have diseases, or has some kind of issue with the feet also. In the body, 12th house is feet also. The left eye is also seen from the 12th house. So all that you have to take the entire picture in consideration before you speak out something. Now, the 1st lord in the 6th house. So one thing is that wherever the 1st lord sits, it kind of improves that house. Ascendant lord, he is the life force. He is the ruler of the chart. He is the life force of the person. So wherever it sits, it will strengthen the house. For the 6th house matters, it says, the classics also says that the native enjoys good health.
Okay.
Because it is the house of diseases.
Yeah.
Lagna lord himself goes there, improves the house. With Lagna lord in the 6th house, classics say he destroys his opponents. Frugal and rich, earns from land. If afflicted, there occurs poor health and troubles from enemies. If Lagna lord goes there and gets into Rahu Ketu axis, that means he is afflicted now. So that way it becomes a problem. Otherwise, it is a good placement. But Lagnesh, anywhere Lagnesh goes, there's life force going there. So native can clear most of the competitions he is getting into. So it is that way. It is a good thing. He would win most of the competitions he is getting into. He can lead a healthy life because you are now controlling your sixth house. Lagnesh is you. The Lagna Lord is you. You are controlling your sixth house. So if that planet, the sixth Lord, comes and sits in the first house, then that house things are controlling you. You understand this difference?
Right.
It is not vice versa. It is not that if this goes, this happens, and that comes, then again this happens. It is not like that. If sixth Lord comes and sits in the first house, that means your diseases are controlling you. They are giving you stress, they are giving you problems, they are giving you depression, whatever, but they are controlling you. Your conflicts are controlling you. You are living a miserable life because of the conflicts. You are always in stress. But with Lagna Lord going into the sixth house, you are controlling that house.
Right.
And naturally it becomes stronger. That area of your life becomes stronger because the life force is with the Lagna Lord. For your chart, your life force is in the ninth house. You would have interest in the dharma, the scriptures, the knowledge related to the spirituality and stuff. You will have that knowledge. You would have interest in higher learning. Although it is afflicted, because it is afflicted by the 12th Lord, who is a natural benefic also, although mild malefic, but it is malefic only. Sun.
Yeah.
Sun is a malefic planet. It is not a benefic planet.
Yeah.
Have there been a good aspect on the Lagna Lord, you wouldn't have this problem of autism.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Had there been, because it is afflicted.
Right.
So by telling you all this, I am telling you how you can help yourself and mitigate the problems.
Right.
You know which planet to cure or which energies to go after. For sun, you need to be disciplined. You need to get up early before the sunrise. As a remedy, you should do Surya Namaskar facing the sun.
All right.
Start doing 11 Surya Namaskaras and make a discipline that this is the time I will get up and this is the time I'll do this. Make a timetable for yourself. Follow that timetable.
Worshipping Sri Ram.
Worshipping Sri Ram is all right, but if that is not the part of your culture, you can leave that also. I'm just saying, you can just stay connected to the Almighty. Don't get into the stuff that you are not comfortable doing, because the more you get into this stuff, you would get 20 gods to serve for different motives.
Right.
Don't get into that, because you don't know. It will get further complicated. Yeah. So pray to Almighty. Pray to Almighty God. Follow your culture. It is absolutely all right. You can follow your tradition. Have strong faith. If you have stronger faith, you'll be all right. If you have wavering faith, that which God should I go to? Don't do that. No matter what Vidya, what science tells you what to do. When it comes to praying, pray to your own God that you think you, if you don't have one, just pray to God Almighty, Lord Almighty. Just pray and your prayers will reach the right place. If you are praying with the clean heart and honesty, you pray to Lord Almighty, your prayers would reach the right place. So if you have any kind of confusion, even if you're going into a temple, you don't know how to pray, just close your eyes in your heart, start praying to your God Almighty or whoever, whatever you understand from that thing, that there's a divine power which is running everything in this world, which is taking care of everything. So just be thankful, grateful, and pray to that part. So no matter by what name you know, by the name of Allah or God or Lord or Yahweh, no matter what you know about it, just pray to that and have a strong faith. Wavering faith is of no use, I tell you. Tomorrow somebody comes and tells you that pray to this god, and you think that the earlier god was not helping, the new one will. Ways of praying is a different thing. Somebody gives you a mantra, you are chanting that mantra, it is a different thing. That you could be seen as ways of praying, but having a strong faith is of utmost importance. Have strong faith. Yeah, get dependent on whoever you pray to, and just stick to it. Don't have wavering faith. If you have wavering faith, then it is a problem. And whatever you're praying for, whatever you're praying about, just ask in prayer and believe that you will get it, because the one you're praying to is far more powerful than the problems you're facing. If you have that kind of faith, your problems will go away. Clear, unwavering, strong faith in God, whoever, by whatever name you know that God. Just have strong, unwavering faith. Something intrigues you, you like something, you want to study about different gods, you can go ahead, you can do that. You want knowledge of Shastras, you should take. You want wisdom, you should go ahead and take that wisdom, that knowledge which is there in the scriptures or the ancient scriptures. That is absolutely all right. But don't have a new god for yourself and leave the older god. That this is the god now I like. This is the one who's going to help me. Don't do that. Yeah. So acquire as much knowledge as you can. That is good. Have as much wisdom as you can. But have a strong, unwavering faith and follow that faith. You can pray to multiple gods, all right. That is all right. But don't do it with an intention that the earlier one was not helping and this one will.
Okay.
You understand this difference? Having strong faith means that you have strong faith. You are dependent on somebody you are depending on, that he will take care. I don't know. If it is not going my way, even if it is not going my way, it is because that he is thinking for a better tomorrow for me.
Right.
If it is not the way I want it to be, it is his way of doing something which I don't understand. That is all you should think of when things are not going your way.
Right.
Yeah, but don't shift gods or don't shift faith.
Right.
Everything happens for a reason. You are dependent on God. You stay dependent on God. As I said, you get different mantras, you get different patterns to pray, you get different suktams or chalisas, Durga Chalisa, Hanuman Chalisa, Aditya Strotra, whatever you want to do, you can do. That is no problem. But don't do it with a feeling that this God was not helping and this God will help. You can praise everybody, that is all right. You can be thankful to everybody, that is all right. You can respect each one of them, that is all right. You can pay respect to every god available in the world which people know, that is absolutely okay. But that should not be with a feeling that mine is not working and this will work.
No.
That shouldn't be the case. If you do that, you would spoil your 9th house, you would spoil your Jupiter. Jupiter is the natural Jiva Karaka. It is the life-giving force.
Okay.
Yeah. The 9th house is the house of progress. 9th house is your luck, your divine grace. If you don't have faith, that grace goes. Yeah. So it is a very important thing to understand. And it is a very important thing to follow. So just be very cautious that how you're dealing with it. One thing is to have faith is very, very important. If you have strong faith, your Jupiter is all right. Like with intention, we talked about Ketu becomes all right if you have good intention. While we were talking about your Ketu sitting in the 6th house, I told you if you have good intentions, fair intentions, the Ketu works all right. So that is the life remedy for Ketu. That is the karma or the right alignment that you should do for Ketu. You don't need to do anything else. If you are doing things with the right intention, you are serving people with the right intention, without malicious motives or personal motives for that matter, Ketu is going to give you good results. With Jupiter, if you have strong faith, Jupiter works all right.
Right.
Yeah. So there shouldn't be any doubt in this area of life.
Yeah. So there's been quite some experiences of God, but I don't know. It's as if there is practical, material, worldly life, and then there is, but so it's like two separate worlds somehow. Yeah. So.
When you
No, I can't say.
dive deep in astrology, like you peel an onion, life unfolds. The truth about life unfolds the more deeper you go in astrology, or you understand that it'll help you unfold the mysteries of life. So most of your doubts will go away in the process. So I am not a spiritual leader, so you can do whatever you want to as far as spirituality is concerned. I am only giving you advices, whatever I could understand. Yeah. So whatever I could understand from this perspective. So the second lord in the 6th house. The second lord in the 6th house is, you would think that it is kind of a bad placement, but it is not that bad a placement. Although for the family related matters, it is kind of, you may say that the conflicts are because of the family and stuff, but in itself, it is kind of an okay placement as far as money is concerned. These kind of natives can make money by giving it on debt or become the financiers, or giving money on interest to people and make money out of it. So that is a combination for that kind also. The planet is coming 5th from itself. It is making a 5-9 relationship. So that way it is a good placement. But any planet going into the 6th house, we know the results that it will bring. The family, the money matters can be the reason for conflicts and litigations. The second house lord in the 6th house, the classic says, accumulates wealth, destroys his enemies, earns wealth through his enemies.
Okay.
He can even earn wealth through his enemies. So that way it is not that bad a placement. Third lord in the 6th house. Third lord is your courage. Lord of your courage goes communication, documentation.
Yeah, if not afflicted, I think
he would to the 6th house.
Yeah, he would be a very good. He would be very good in discussions, in conflicts, verbally.
You are showing courage to your enemies. Third house, it is your third house. Goes into your 6th house. You are showing courage to your enemies. We can say that, correct?
Yes.
For the younger sibling, it is not a good placement. The third lord going in the 6th. The native could be in marketing jobs, sales or marketing profile.
Yeah.
Person could be in a travel tourism job, because the sixth house, with second lord in the sixth house, the person could be working in a bank, because second is influencing the sixth. Sixth is your job also.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, person could be an investment banker with
Right.
second lord in the sixth.
Yeah.
With third lord in the sixth, person could be involved in documentation work. No matter what kind of job he's doing, he would documentation would be a part of his profile. He can get into the media. With third house, you also see the media. He could get into the media and could be working in the media industry. The classics say enmity with brothers. We know it is of younger sibling, third house. So it says enmity with brothers. Very rich, little comfort from maternal uncle, desires his maternal aunt, eye diseases, and sickly.
Yeah.
So this is a slight mischievous kind of a thing, but third lord in the sixth house. So sixth house is for the your maternal uncles, or your the sixth house is for the maternal uncle and aunts. So
Yeah.
third lord going there, third lord is not seen as a soft benefic. It is seen as a malefic only, the third lord. Although you require it because it is the planet of courage, so you require it for different areas, but in a way it is seen as a malefic only. The 3 6 11s are malefics in the chart, so it is kind of you're showing courage there in the sixth house.
Yeah.
For some things it is good, for softer things it is not so good.
Yeah.
Or relationships with your maternal uncle, it is not so good. Fourth lord in the sixth house, mother becomes the reasons for conflicts.
Right.
Property becomes the reasons for conflicts. Fourth lord going in the sixth house.
Yeah.
Your
Family.
fourth house, fourth lord governs your peace. Fourth house is your peace, your comforts.
Yeah.
Lord goes in the sixth, third from itself. It is not a good placement. The planet goes third from itself. For the fourth house, it is not that great of a placement. For sixth house, it is all right, but for the fourth house, it is not so good. So what happens when the fourth lord goes to the sixth house? The classics tells us that he's bereft of comforts from mother, bereft of comforts from mother, short-tempered, wicked, thoughtful, and adulterer. If fourth lord is a malefic, he brings bad name to father. If a benefic, accumulates wealth. And the fifth lord in the sixth house now.
Yeah. Your children could be the cause of conflicts.
It can be, you can say.
But yeah, mainly probably
Your intelligence is going in the sixth
yeah,
house matters.
right. Your
Yeah.
mindset,
Your thinking related to the
yeah,
sixth house matters.
yeah,
So that could also be a thing.
yeah.
For the sixth house, it is all right. For the fifth
Yeah.
lord, it is not so good.
No. No.
For the matters related to the sixth house, it is okay to have the fifth lord there. Fifth lord is a good planet in your chart.
No.
Thinking good for you. Yeah, 159, they're benefics.
Yeah.
Thinking good about you. For the sixth lord, for the sixth house, it is good to have the fifth lord there, but for the fifth lord, it is not that good a placement. So children can obviously become the cause of conflict, the cause of litigation, the cause of stress in a native's life. There could be illnesses in the stomach area. The native can suffer from acidity, inflammation in the upper abdomen area. The classics say that the fifth lord in the sixth house, illness to child, opposed by his son, many enemies, sickly, poor, lacks respect. So we have completed the sixth house today. It is 1 o'clock here in India. So we can wrap it up here.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.